All right, welcome to part 2 of the Microsoft Excel tutorial here. The advantage of using Microsoft Excel with a gradebook, something like this, is that if I take a student's assignment, let's say Peppermint Patty's assignment 4, and I change that 10 to a 50, the advantage of that, and I haven't pressed enter yet, but when I do, the advantage of that is that her points earned will jump by 40, her percentage will increase to a little more than an A, and then the class average will all update as well. So all three of those things are going to update as soon as I press enter right now. There you go. And you'll notice that the class average moved up, her points earned moved up, and the percentage moved up. And this is absolutely necessary. Some of you just kind of hard typed those percentages in there. You did them by hand or on a calculator or something like that and then typed them in. Guys, that's not the point of Excel. The point of Excel is that it'll automatically recalculate things based on updated numbers that you punch in there. All right. So with our little gradebook here, I'd like to take this another step further, and what I would like to do is put in a final exam. So let's call this percentage the semester percentage. And in our little class here, let's say this is for our class at Concordia, that counts for 80% of the overall grade. I'm going to move over to column J and put a final exam column in there, which is 20% of the overall grade, and then a total final absolute grade. And that incorporates the 80% here and the 20% here. One of the first things that you'll notice is that these two columns do not match the formatting of this column, so I'm going to use the format painter for that. The format painter is nice because I don't want to have to bother taking this, making it bold, up the font, change the centering, change the wrapping, anything else I might have to do with that. I just don't want to do it. So what I'm going to do is take points possible because that's nice and pretty. I like that. That's what I'd like to copy. So I'm going to take that, hit the format painter, and you'll notice it's got this little outline on it now. I'm now going to take my cursor, which has a little paintbrush on it, and select these two cells. And when I let go of the mouse button, you'll notice that the formatting was copied and pasted from this cell to those. Kind of nice. All right, so these final exams here. The final exams, for Charlie Brown, I'm going to put a 90, which is 0.9, Peppermint Patty, 0.65, Linus Van Pelt, 0.85, and Woodstock, he just aces the thing with a 1. And I have those numbers not as 90, not as 65, not as 85 or 100, but I have those as decimal representations because remember, that's what this is. What I really need to do at this point is take these numbers and format them as a percentage. And so now it'll look a little something like that. That's going to be huge in terms of calculating this total grade, otherwise the calculations will be way off. All right. Here's how we do the total grade for something like this. If you're ever trying to calculate a weighted grade, or if you've never done this before, this is how you do it. It's very simple. I'm going to start with the equals key. Equals tells Excel that I'm using some kind of formula. I'm going to click on this, multiplied by 0.8, 0.8 obviously for 80%, plus this times 0.2. So 80% of this plus 20% of this gives me a total grade in the class of 93%. And that makes sense, right? Do a quick little gut check. Most of your grade is the 94. You factor in a low A in there. It's going to bring it down some. Yeah, you're good. That's a good total grade. I'll do it one more time before I do the pattern fill. I'm going to start with the equals. Take this, multiply it by 0.8. Notice I'm not using parentheses here. Excel will follow the order of operations. Plus this times 0.2. And so notice by getting a D on the final exam, Peppermint Patty went from a low A to a high B. That's okay though. And I'm going to take that pattern and fill it out for Linus and Woodstock as well. Notice by acing the final exam, Woodstock was able to bring his grade up from a 69 to a 75. Last step is to just kind of adjust the formatting of this thing. That becomes a percentage. And then we'd have to do something similar to the formatting of these cells here, except that I copy-pasted a percentage, so I'm going to undo that. And at this point, it might be easier just to select the whole thing again and do the grid lines so that you have the borders all around. and then let's do kind of a more of a dashed thing in between those this time. And so now you can see I've kind of rounded out my little grade book there. I could keep going with the class average, the class minimum, maximum, that kind of thing if I wanted to. Don't really want to. Let me show you conditional formatting real quick for this last part. So with the total grade here, or let's do the semester percentage. With the semester percentage, I'd like to highlight those, and I'd like to apply some conditional formatting to it. All right, now you have some options here, some pre-made things that are very cutesy. It gives you an idea as to where those grades stand in comparison to the rest of the class, and you can see it previewing there in the background. I would just like a quick little highlight rule. If the contents of those cells is ever less than, we'll call it 72%. Get rid of all that. 72%. I'm going to do a light red fill with dark red text. That's fine. Notice you can do red text, red border, or some other custom thing and hit OK. And notice that Woodstocks is automatically pink with that grade of 69%. If he turns in assignment 1 again, gets a 90 on it, and I hit enter, again, notice that the formatting disappears. Not only did that disappear, but his total grade, or not only did that update, but the total grade updated as well. And so now I can take a quick look and I can say, what's my class average there? 91.93%. I must be doing an excellent job as the teacher, all right? Or whatever. But that's kind of the extension of the last one. The only other thing to do at this point is to name the sheet. So I'm going to right click down here, click rename, and say this is my basic assignment sheet, and hit enter. All right. So I'm going to pause it there and let you catch up, and we'll see you for the third and final part of the Microsoft Excel assignment.